Two. Yo, welcome back once again to the TEEP This podcast. Today is Thursday, March 1st, and tomorrow, Friday, March the 2nd, Travis Clay and Ognjen Topic will get it on in the ring in New York City at Friday Night Fights. And that fight will be broadcast on UFC Fight Pass. This is a momentous time for the sport of Muay Thai in the United States. And I'm really, really excited to be a part of what's happening with Muay Thai in this country. I have been a fan of Travis Clay's since I first caught him on the famed Lion Fight promotion. It was Lion Fight number 27. I think it was about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now, when he fought Jared Papazian. And man, Travis Clay, his demeanor, his practice of Muay Thai, his posture, his stance, his technique, it was captivating for me, and his performance was incredible. And I've been a fan ever since that moment. And every time since then that I've seen Travis fight, he's never ceased to amaze, and he's never failed to deliver. I will always suggest, if you ever get a chance to see Travis Clay fight, don't miss the opportunity. Ognjen Topic is one of the best in this hemisphere at the sport of Muay Thai. He is not a joke at all. He is a very creative individual. He is a tireless athlete who trains as hard as anyone could ever train. This fight tomorrow is going to be epic. Everyone's talking about it, and I can't wait. And I'm really, really happy to be able to chat with Travis and share that conversation with you. I can learn from him, and you can learn from him, and we can all keep learning from one another through this great, beautiful, brutal sport that we all love called Muay Thai. So, I mean, WCK, Full Rules Muay Thai, has been bringing Muay Thai to television for years and years and years now. Lion Fight was putting Muay Thai on the TV screen through their deal with Access TV, which seemingly is no more. But here comes UFC, the giant mogul of combat sports. They have gotten behind Muay Thai, and not just in a way where they're just recording and putting the fights up and telling you, oh, come on, you can come check them out. They're actually getting behind the sport. They're marketing the fact that they're covering Muay Thai. They're interviewing the fighters. They're bringing Muay Thai to you, to us, and that is a great thing. At present, they are airing fights from both coasts. On the East Coast, they air the Friday night fights, and from the West Coast, they are airing the fights that are organized by Triumphant Combat Sports. This past weekend, they just did their third installment, Triumphant 3, up in Oakland, California. It was completely epic. So get yourself an account with UFC Fight Pass. I think it's only $9.99 a month, so that you can lay back on your couch or on your bed and experience Full Rules American Muay Thai right there at your disposal. And you can also explore some of the older kickboxing promotions that used to happen back in the day, like the stuff from the Netherlands, the Showtime Kickboxing, the K1, Old Glory stuff, New Glory stuff. It's a really, really great time for Muay Thai and kickboxing in the USA. And with that being said, let us not waste another moment. Let's get into our conversation with Travis Clay. Let's get into the podcast. How you feeling?
I feel good, man.
That's good. That's good. My first time actually speaking to you.
Yeah.
It's cool for me, man, because I've been a fan for quite a while. So yeah, it's cool. And I've never done a podcast interview the day before someone goes into a fight either. So I'm just trying to be respectful of your time and stay calm, and keep you nice and chill.
Yeah, man, it's all good.
But you're good. You're like, man, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome. So, the real deal, Travis Clay, with you, for me in particular, I saw you. My first experience with Travis Clay was on television. I saw you on Line Fight. I think it was Line Fight 27. That was the one where you fought Papazian, correct?
Yeah, that was my first pro fight.
It was.
Yep.
Well, it was my first time seeing you, man. And I remember Pat Miletich, setting up the fight and talking about you a little bit. And he really talked a lot about Jared Papazian a lot. And I saw Papazian bouncing around and he had that wild look in his eye. And then I saw you, and you were just really kind of chill and quiet, and you you kind of, I don't know what it was, but right away I was like, wow, I'm gonna watch this. And it was just interesting. You have this slow kind of almost traditional, like it harkens more to traditional, like to the Thais, the way you get in your Thai stance and you just rock like a wave of, like a pool of water, and then wham, you explode with those big left kicks, And I jumped up in the air, man, when you won that fight, because I was at home by myself. I wish I'd have been at a bar with other people so I could have been like, see, I told you. But when I first saw that, like in my gut, I was like, this kid's gonna win. This guy's gonna win. And I've been a stone cold fan ever since.
Oh, thanks, man.
No, yeah. And then the next time, when it really just solidified, was when I live in LA, so I drove down to San Diego to catch WCK Ultimate Conquest to see you fight Joe Gogo, and it's one of the most entertaining fights I've ever seen. It was just so great because that was JoJo's home turf, and the crowd was just really, really amped. And once again, you came in there nice and chill and quiet. And I was like, y'all better watch out. You got to watch this kid, Travis Clay. You have no idea. You got to watch him. I'm telling you. And you guys hit each other and you both fell and you both had knockdowns and the place just went nuts. And then I was just a stone hard fan after that, man. You won that green belt that day. And it was just awesome. And then here we are today. The sport has grown a lot since you first started. I got into the sport in 2015. Here we are now. UFC Fight Pass is airing these fights, and Lion Fight has already been on television and gone. So I guess where I want to start with you today is let's go back to Lion Fight 27 and let's just walk ourselves all the way up to what you got going on tomorrow. Talk to me about.
Cool, man.
Yeah, talk to me about that pro debut. How you felt across the ring from Papazian. What was, do you just take me through it, from your side?
Cool, man. So, I think I've never been so nervous as that first fight. Going against somebody like Papazian was new for me. In my amateur career, we really tried to stay away from guys that fought MMA, only because it's not complementary to Thai boxing. The two styles don't really mix real well. You either have guys that are very, very sloppy and they just swing all over the place, or you have the exact opposite and they're doing Muay Thai as a stand-up, but they're really like ground guys, so they hug you and grab your waist. So we really try to stay away from that as an amateur. So not only was fighting Papazian my first real experience with an MMA guy, but it was also my first pro fight. So I had a little bit of like, man, I can't lose to a guy that just does MMA type of a feeling on it, Although
he was he was kind of a veteran by the time he stepped in the ring with you.
Yeah, he had lots of experience. So like, and that was another thing that made me a little bit nervous, going from, having just Muay Thai fights to having a guy that has, 30 some odd fights and was fighting for the UFC at the time. Sure. Or I got a contract through them and stuff. So I was a little bit of nerve wracked.
What was your fight count at the time when you went pro? How many amateur fights had you had under your belt by that time?
So by the time I was ready to go pro, I had almost 30 amateur fights. I was at like 26 or 27, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Most of them were single fights. I did a couple tournaments. I'm not a big fan of tournaments, personally. Not that there's anything wrong with tournaments, and tournaments are a good way to, help you improve in the sport and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
For you.
it's just something for me. I mean, I'm type, like, my personality is I'm like an all-in type of guy, and I feel that tournaments don't give you that all-in feeling because you're wearing a lot of protection. If you're gonna fight, you're gonna fight. That's just how I feel about it
Mm-hmm.
personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done tournaments as well to compete. So it's just my own overall feeling about it.
Yeah, the tournaments are very safety oriented. I think that they will call a fight a lot quicker in a tournament. They'll call a TKO a lot quicker than they will in just a sanctioned amateur or professional fight. And that does make sense because you might be dazed or whatever, but if I gave you another 5 seconds, maybe you would have come around.
Right.
Yeah. By the time we wave you off, you're ready, and you're like,
right.
Yeah, no, that's a very valid point. So it's Lion Fight 27. It's your pro debut. You're on TV, standing across from this Wolverine. It's wild. I mean, he just looked wild. I mean, he just his hair, his face, the way he was moving. I was like, oh god, this is gonna be crazy. And it's very valid what you say because I've seen that a lot with the MMA guys. They're heavy, they're really heavy footed and just swinging, wow, or just charging you like a wild animal. So like I said, this is really great to hear because here I am, in front of the TV and listening to Pat Miletich and Michael Chiavello call the fight, and I'm just watching you, and so now I get a chance to actually know what was going on behind your eyes as you came out there nice and chill. So you say you were nervous. It's the first bell. Thiago's there. Take me there.
So I mean, once I have nerves like everybody else, man. The hardest part about fighting is the moments up until you step into that ring. I think any fighter will tell you the same thing. You go through so many different emotions. You're scared. You might even, some guys, they're like, oh man, I feel like I'm gonna cry. Other guys get like super anxious. And you go through all these feelings, but for me, once I seal the ring and that first bell rings, like, I feel like a wave of calmness just enters, and it really helps me relax. But up until that point, I feel like I'm a raging storm inside, not being able to really focus on what I know I need to do.
Wow.
I'm kind of like everywhere looking around. But once I seal the ring, and then the bell rings and we walk towards each other, everything just kind of settles. Everything goes quiet. And then, I mean, that's just kind of how I exhale, and then I'm nice and relaxed from that point on. I feel like, I've made it through everything that possibly in my head can happen, which is always worse, than because you always put yourself, I mean, I do personally, I always put myself at a disadvantage against other people,
Interesting. I guess that makes sense. You don't want to go in there because but everybody's got their way.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. At just mentally doing what you got to do so that you can put one foot in front of the other and just walk toward that dragon.
Right.
While you were fighting, Jared, how was it? How was it fighting? I want to know about the style difference. I mean, how did you feel? Because I saw you in a full Muay Thai movement. How was it for you? Was it awkward? Did you have to adjust a lot?
The one thing we practiced a lot, and I mean, I think it really, speaks volumes to just the difference in the styles, is, making sure that everything when you attack Muay Thai is precise, not just to hit, but it's to, hit effectively. So we took advantage of the wide swings. Every time he would swing wide, I would try to step in and throw the up elbow, just to slow him down as much as I could. We also figured that, him being an MMA guy and, kind of being a veteran in the sport of MMA, he was going to be used to going and giving all of it as fast as he can, and then if he can't, rely on going to the ground. Whereas I was like, man, we got 5 rounds. I can take this all the way to deep water. So we just tried to, let him throw himself out a little bit,
Sure.
and then keep a steady pace so that he didn't get to recover once he did, like, kind of tire himself out a little bit.
And then you could take advantage, turn it up.
Right.
Did that strategy play out for you?
Yeah, I think it was super effective. He got to one point, which is the first for me, where he was like trying to egg me on in the middle of the fight to engage in the early rounds, right before his knockdown, actually, in one of the rounds. He was trying to engage, and then I was refusing to,
take the bait.
I guess, yeah, right, because it felt like a bait, like, come on, you're not hurting me. I thought you were going to hit me harder than that type stuff. And I'm like, you know what? It's coming, bro. It's coming.
Wow, that's interesting, man. I mean, it's interesting. You're so docile in the ring. Your face is so like boyish, and I'm listening to you talk now, but inside you're like, I got some shit for you, man. I mean, you got strategy and all type of stuff that's going on. Yeah, no, that was a good one to watch. It was I was stoked. I was stoked on that one. And it's very interesting to hear the difference in styles. And that brings me to another point that I always want to ask about. And I've been on this mission searching for this answer for a while, and I always explore it with different people. But so what is the difference with Muay Thai? I mean, there's Muay Thai, there's MMA. To the non-practicing individual who's watching, they'll be like, well, isn't that that's kickboxing? Well, no, it's Muay Thai. Talk to me about that. What's the difference?
All right. So a lot of the differences, between, the what we call glory style or American, what people know is what is kickboxing, and then to people what is known as Muay Thai is, in kickboxing, they limit the amount of techniques you're allowed to use, just based on their rule set. Most kickboxers have done Muay Thai before, or have some kind of background in Muay Thai. So kickboxing really is, they eliminate techniques, whereas Muay Thai is every technique. For people that, don't know the sport too well, like in Thai boxing, your whole body is a weapon. You can use your elbows, you can use your knees, you can even grab to their arms, you can push, pull. These are all things that are, and dump. These are, catch the legs. These are all things that you can do in Muay Thai. But they take some of these abilities or these weapons away for kickboxing, such as, like, you're not allowed to elbow. Clinching is met to a very minimal. In some places it's not even allowed. You cannot catch the leg. And then on the scoring aspect of it, in kickboxing, they treat it more like boxing, where it's points. So, like, a kick is worth a point, or whatever their point system is, sure. Right? Whatever they decided.
This strike is worth that, or whatever.
Right. Whereas Muay Thai is a more overall concept of your ability to beat your opponent with all of the skills, and who has the most overall knowledge of the skills in the ring.
In other words, whoever had the best Muay Thai. Overall.
Right, that's really right. That's really how they score it in Muay Thai, especially in Thailand, where it was from, and it's not all about aggression and just hitting. It's about being able to control the aspects of all parts of Muay Thai. So I mean, that's another difference as well.
And so this is why I asked that question, because I personally believe that's really. That I think there's a different mindset in Muay Thai than in the other sports. And I think it goes down to what you just said, because it's about control.
Yeah.
It's about control. Papazian is, come on, man. Come on, I'm going to egg you on. You ain't shit. I'm going to mess with your ego. I'm going to play with your head. The Muay Thai fighter the Muay Thai fighter isn't motivated by ego and that, or at least, you know, in theory, we're trying not to be.
Right.
That's interesting. And my Muay Thai is different when I'm fighting Senchai than when I'm fighting Cosmo Alexander, you know, because you got to get super, super creative when you're in front of a guy like Senchai. And you just got to get fucking strong when you're in front of a guy like Cosmo Alexander. And so who's got the best overall Muay Thai versus, well, he outscored you. You hit him 54 times. He hit you 78 times. Therefore, he wins.
Right.
Interesting.
I look at it like, personally, I look at it as effective type of striking, right? Like, you can throw jab at me 90 times. You're not going to hurt me with a weak jab if you're just slapping the jab in my face to hit me, right?
Right.
You throw 10 of those, I throw a good right hand at you, and I step you back. That's more technical. That's a much more aggressive strike. You know, it shows my level of my own level of being able to punch over you. Mm-hmm. You throw weak shots, I maybe only throw one, but it lands on the target and it stumbles you. That's kind of how I look at it, you know, when it comes to that type of stuff. So I'm not a big quantity over quality. I'm a big quality, you know, is the most important. You know, if I'm going to throw a kick, I'm going to throw it as hard as I can at you, and I'm going to try to score with that kick. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not just going to touch your leg with my leg, you know, and say that, oh yeah, it's an effective strike. I know that's garbage.
Yeah, well, no, I mean,
personally, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's good to hear because it helps me understand what I'm seeing, because when you, especially that rear leg kick, when you throw that rear leg kick, you're not kidding. Whether it's to the head or the body, I don't know if I've ever seen you pepper with your rear leg. Every kick I've ever seen you throw with the rear leg was intended to snap the pole in half. Yeah. And, you know, let me ask you this too. I always wondered. So, how are you about being a southpaw? Do you feel have you experienced an advantage with your southpaw stance, or do you go both ways?
I'm like super dominantly left-handed. I've been that way since I was like really little. I can do very little with my right. So, I mean, switching stance for me is like a foreign language. We've tried like in camp just to see if maybe it's something we could do. I'm okay with doing like one or two strikes, but like if I have to step forward or whatever, just to keep an even pressure, if
you got to get back.
If that's what's called for, yeah. Right? But I just need to be left-handed.
Right.
You know, my last couple of opponents actually have been left-handed, and I mean, fighting a lefty as a lefty was harder for me than fighting a lefty versus a righty, obviously, because I don't fight as many lefties.
Sure.
But, I mean, I believe there's a certain advantage to being lefty versus righty, but you can take that both ways, in my opinion. You know, I look at the strikes as, like, if somebody that is right-handed looks at it like on an outside perspective, not just one versus one. Mm-hmm. Anything that I can do to you, you can do the exact same thing to me. The exact same amount of techniques are open because we're actually a mirror. If I like to throw the right kick, if I like to throw the left kick, you can throw the exact same, right. You can throw the exact same kick. And, sure, it's awkward to maybe some of the things, like your distance is a little bit off because you're used to fighting right-handed people. But, you also get more coverage fighting a lefty because they're standing to the back. So your rear leg can be more powerful.
I think you nailed it when you said, that you the bottom line is we just end up training opposite right-handed people more often than left-handed people.
Right.
And there you are, you're a lefty yourself. And when you're in front of a southpaw, you're like, oh, this is a little, hold on a second. I mean, even you, because you're just used to training with people who are standing in an orthodox stance in front of you. The next time, the next fight I saw was Line Fight 29 with you and Julio Pena.
Yeah.
Man, you had that beautifully timed, now look, Julio Pena was the very he was also one of my big heroes because him and oh my God, Yayo, what's Yayo's name? Jason Verdugo. Him and Jason Verdugo, man, they had a couple of epic battles, and Julio Pena's had some beautiful knockouts. He had a beautiful spinning rear elbow where he cracked the kid's face open on Lion Fight. Man, Lion Fight, I miss him on Access TV. Boy, those are some great days. Lion Fight on Access TV. When you fought Julio, man, talk to me about that fight. How different it was in front of, compared to the last one against Papazian. And then talk to me about that head kick, man. Was it just, I don't want to say lucky, but was it just fortunate timing, or did you notice that hand down and you picked that?
So through camp, we trained to fight Pena the way where he's open. He hasn't changed his game a whole lot. We watched, Thiago watched a lot of how he likes to do things, how he returns to his home base. Your fighting stance and how his hands sit. He's very comfortable dropping his right, after he attacks. So we practiced the low kick to the high kick from the beginning of camp. Because he likes to try to catch the low kick. Sometimes when it hurts too bad, he grabs the leg to try to trip you up. That was always the plan. It just happened a little bit earlier than we thought it was going to happen. But yeah, I went into the fight the same way. I don't think I've ever had a fight where I've not been the underdog so far.
Yeah.
Every fight I've been in my professional career, I've kind of been the underdog. I mean,
it's interesting that you say that because I felt that too. And that's why I have so much fun watching you win, because I can feel that. I don't know why. Maybe it's just your stature, because you're just quiet and you're not boisterous and loud. I don't know what it is, but every time I'm there, I'm always like, just so you know, be careful. Y'all haven't seen it. I'm trying to tell you. And people are looking at me like, well, who is he? I'm like, man, you better watch him. You see his quads? Watch him. Just watch, And sure enough, that leg comes around the corner, and as Chevelle would say, it's the big kibosh. The lights go out. Oh yeah, man, fun stuff. Let me grab my notes real quick too, because I don't want to.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't want to forget nothing here. Oh yeah. Back to the San Diego fight, man. Went to San Diego. Joe Gogo, I'm also a huge fan of his. He's a very electric guy. I just saw him up in Oakland this past weekend. The guys out there in Oakland had Triumphant 3, which is the UFC Fight Pass's other Muay Thai promotion that they're airing. On the East Coast, right. It's Friday Night Fights. On the West Coast, it's Triumphant 3. And I just watched Joe Gogo go through it with Erik Luna, and it was another epic fight. But that was epic in San Diego last year with you two. Talk to me about that fight. How was it fighting him? He was shorter. He was working to get inside. I saw you using your length. How was that fighting Joe? Because he did knock you down once, and I think you both. Yeah.
Yeah, he got me. That's it was fun. He's got a lot of power in his hands, man. If it's not obvious,
totally.
He swings hard, and he caught me a little bit off guard in the first round, with a good shot, knocked me on my butt. I mean, nothing too serious where I was like hurt or anything, but I was like, all right, now I'm gonna make sure that you feel the real power. So and it was close to the end of the round. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get him next round.
Yeah.
So, again, I was the underdog in that one, too. Everybody, I mean, they were making comments about how little I was in comparison to him, how thin my waist was. They were making all kinds of silly, like comments about it.
I don't know why, because when you stand next to him, it's like, wait a minute, that dude he's kind of bigger than Joe. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, look, people listening to this podcast, this fight that we're talking about, it is on YouTube. All you gotta do is go on YouTube and just type Joe Gogo, Travis Clay. All 4 rounds, all 5 rounds are up there. Was that a 4-rounder or a 5-rounder?
No, it was a 5-rounder.
It was a 5-rounder.
Yeah, it went 5 rounds. Yep.
I've seen I've seen 4 rounds online. Maybe all 5 of them are out there, but I know at least 4. How were you with the audience? Because you were obviously you were the visitor. How did that affect you?
I mean, like I talked about earlier, like once I'm in the ring, I hear very little other than my corner, and I just kind of drowned out. It all becomes what's called white noise. Mm-hmm. Like I don't hear in like specific people saying things or anything like that. I just kind of hear the cheer of the crowd, but I definitely walking up to the ring knew that he was the favorite. The crowd was huge. Huge there. So it was a little bit, of like kind of like choked in the throat a little bit, like that like feeling, in a way like that, like, oh, if this doesn't go, if this is close, I'm definitely not going to win this one. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting. So that maybe you were just like, man, I'm gonna have to really hurt this dude here, because
right.
Interesting.
Right.
It was a lot of great sportsmanship between you two. There's a lot of respect. I mean, you say you felt JoJo's power, and I've seen those rounds enough times, and I've seen the images that I shot enough times to see JoJo put his hand out to you a number of times, like, damn, okay, man, there was a lot. Y'all were giving each other dap a few times, during that one. But you won that green WBC belt, so congratulations on that. Are you still babysitting that belt?
Yeah, it's still mine. They haven't. We've asked for them to find a challenger to to do it. And so far they haven't come up with any names. Mm-hmm. So until I'm ready anytime.
I know you are.
Right. I'm ready anytime. Anytime they tell me, hey, you got to defend. I'm like, all right, I'm ready for that.
How long have you known Dennis Warner?
Personally, about 2 years.
Okay.
But I've known of Dennis and WCK for a long time. When I was an amateur, I just didn't get the opportunity, to go out there and fight for him as an amateur.
Sure.
Personally, we had a couple of guys that did, but I just didn't get the opportunity. A couple of times when I was supposed to fight on the show, my guy pulled out or something. So. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm really, glad that you've had the opportunity to come in and fight on WCK events as a pro. I will always, take the opportunity to come see a Travis Clay fight. People listening, if you want to see something interesting and eclectic and unpredictable and authentic, it's Travis Clay in the ring, his corner. They're dead serious about this fucking Muay Thai, man. His coach eats and breathes it. Is it Seaton? Is that the name of the gym, or Seitan? How do you say it?
Seaton.
Seaton Gym.
Yeah.
Now, how many Seaton Gym locations are there in the U.S. or on the planet, for that matter?
I'm not 100% sure on how many are actually still around the globe, but I know for sure. We have our home base in New York, Seaton Gym, New York, mm-hmm. and then. Thiago opened up a Seaton Gym in Arizona, so we've got 2 in the States. So
yeah, well, I mean, it is an electric gym. I follow Seaton Gym on the Arizona branch on Instagram, and you guys always just have wonderful training. The kids, the fighters, the regular students. You're always on there. Thiago's always on there, cracking jokes and giving great technique. And I love the colors of the gym, and everyone's wearing beautiful, colorful, uniforms. You guys really post really great stuff there. So I'm always like following that. So yeah, folks. So make certain that you check out the gym that Travis is repped by. Let's see here. What else do I have for you? Oh yeah, Ognjen Topic. Is it Ognjen Topic or Topic?
I think it's Toebitch.
I think it's Toebitch too. I would think so. So.
Yeah.
Man, so how did this one even come about? Tell me about it, because I don't know anything. I just saw all of a sudden Ognjen Topic, and Travis Clay, and I'm like, oh, it just keeps getting better. How did this fight orient, or how did this one come to be?
You know, I'm not 100% to be honest with you. It's been like 6 weeks now, but like Thiago had come to New York, and he was training and doing a few things, and I guess they were looking for somebody that was 132 to fight, and you know, Thiago was always like, "Hey, I got Travis." And I didn't know it was. I got a text message when he got back. He goes, "Clay versus Toebitch." I was like, "All right, let's do it."
Nice. Wow.
That's kind of how it happened. So
that's how it happened for the fans too. We were just walking around,
right.
and next thing you know, bam, Clay versus Toebitch. We're like, whoa. I mean,
yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. What's at stake for this one? Is there a belt on the line, a title, or anything, or is it a 5-rounder, 3-rounder?
It's 5 rounds, 5 rounds of full rules. So we got full Muay Thai. I don't know. I just you know, my you know, there's been some back and forth about a belt or not, or a title, and nobody said anything to me, so I'm assuming it's just a regular fight.
Sure.
You know, 5-round fight. So, and to be honest, the title doesn't make it any different for me. True. You know, I'm just there to fight. So.
Well, then tell me, that's the other thing too that, you know, I like to try to delve into, you know, because us here in Muay Thai, it's a little bit different from what I've seen than maybe with some other fight sports. Nobody in Muay Thai is making a ton of money. Whenever they do get a belt, it's not like their purse just quadrupled. Maybe they get another $500. I don't know, but ain't no money here yet in Muay Thai. It's brand new. So what is motivating you to fight Muay Thai? Like, what do you risk? What happens if you do lose? Does it even matter? Do you just go away and no big deal? Or what's on the line for you in this fight game?
I just, for me personally, I just want everybody to, you know, enjoy the sport that I love. I mean, I know it sounds really weird, but like, I fight for myself, and I fight to just put people in touch with a new way to watch, you know, fight sports, and to just learn something new and enjoy it, you know, and enjoy the work that I've put in and that all these fighters have, you know. There's not a lot of money in the sport. You got to have a heart for it, you know, but there's so much more to Thai boxing, and it's stuff that people don't know, you know, that I wish they did, you know, that keeps the fighters fighting, and it keeps the hardcore fans, it keeps them coming back. You know, it's things like the tradition of sealing the ring, the Ramoy, the Y crew. All those things are just, they're so enrooted in the ancient part of the sport that, like, it gives you beautiful violence.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably, in my opinion, just my personal opinion, it's one of the most brutal sports there is. Muay Thai is the most unforgiving sport in combat. One mistake can be catastrophic.
Yes, it can, especially with those elbows.
You know, right. You know, but at the core, it's a beautiful motion, it's beautiful movement, and everything's really elegant. So, you know, that's what keeps me coming. My drive to win is for myself, man. I just wanna every time I fight somebody, I just go in that ring and I just wanna show the audience and show my friends and family and everybody that supports me, you know, that, look, man, I'm making progress. No matter what happens, win or lose, I'm making progress. You know, I'm getting better at every fight. I'm learning new things every fight.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm opening up other people's eyes to the sport just by me being able to be in the ring. So that's a win for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, man, you know, you walking into these rings as an underdog and leaving with W's, it's got to be a little bit of fun in that too, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know, nobody likes to lose. I mean, they can all say that, you know, it doesn't matter, but losing is a is a big kick in the, in the balls. It doesn't matter if it's a close fight. Doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if it's a demolition in there. Losing is not fun. I mean, we all want to win. That's why we fight, to win.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah, we fight to win, but I agree with you. I think we fight this particular Muay Thai thing because it is so beautiful. I think it changes your mindset. I really do. I think it changes your mindset when you look across at your opponent. Just the whole training and the whole thing, just versus I'm gonna kill you. It's more like, I don't know, it's this more methodical, what's the word I'm looking for? This methodical deconstruction.
Right. I might get a lot of heat for saying what I'm about to say, but because the way I view Muay Thai is like a chess match. There's lots of moves to be made. And the one with the best game plan, the one that has the insight, they're usually the ones that win. Whereas some of the other combat sports are more like checkers. You just move and try to jump over your opponent, and it's over.
Yeah.
Let
me ask you this then. So now that UFC Fight Pass has gotten behind Muay Thai, it's one thing to air Muay Thai fights, but it's another thing to kind of start marketing the sport and interviewing fighters and putting out content and trying to drive traffic toward the sport versus just saying, hey, the sport is here. So all you Muay Thai folks, if you're interested, you can come on over here to UFC and you can check us out. Now UFC seems to be bringing the sport there. With that whole chess match, I mean, with the way Muay Thai is, do you think America is going to, how do you think we're going to do in the next 5 years? Do you think Americans will adopt Muay Thai and get into it? Or do you think it's not bloody and it's not brutal enough, or it's not bloody and brutal as often enough, or whatever?
I mean, I see a light at this, as people say, at the end of the tunnel, man. And Muay Thai has been overshadowed by a lot of things, but with things like the UFC Fight Pass, taking an interest, and even Glory doing well.
Yeah.
And some of the top guys, don't get me wrong, I like some of the kickboxers, I like Petrosian, and they're good kickboxers, right?
Sure.
But if you're talking about some of the higher level guys, man, they're starting to come out of Thailand. We got guys that have only done Muay Thai for a long period of time. Guys like City Chai, Tong Chai, and Tong Chai. These guys, people don't know them here, but they're good fighters.
They get in that Glory ring and they just wipe it up.
and that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's so there's a little bit of I think there might be a little bit of a reckoning coming. Like, people are like, man, Muay Thai is a legitimately here. Like, it's not just this thing that people do once in a while. It's a legitimate sport, and it's very, very here. We've got lots of people, from the West Coast to the East Coast here, and fighters, and we've got kids that are going to be they're the future of this sport.
For sure.
So anything that we can do to make the kids enjoy the sport is what we try to do.
And anything we can do to parents, to reach out to parents, to let parents know not to be afraid to bring your kid in. And if you don't want to bring your kid in, you come in and check it out. Check it out and see what's going on. Talk to other parents, but it's just like, when if you can take your kid and buy him a big CCM bag full of hockey gear or football equipment, then you can sure enough take him over to the pro shop and get him some boxing gloves and a mouthpiece. It's the same deal. But yeah, no, you're definitely right. And you guys are super active in that department as well. You and Thiago, with the YDL, the USMF, our international competition. Yeah, you guys are super, super busy. You're definitely being about it. Always have. And then plus, folks, just so you know, look online for Siam TV. you guys have been airing fights since like, I don't know, like maybe 2010 or something. And it looks pro.
Yeah.
Those fights that you guys have on YouTube, they've got the full animation. It looks just like a big UFC production. I didn't even know that existed. I just found that recently looking up your name, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's like Travis Clay's older pro fights, and they look. I mean, your amateur fights, and they look completely pro because of the way you guys shot them. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff, man. I think that does it. Let me think if I have anything else. Oh yeah. So, is there, so we're doing good with Muay Thai here in the States. I agree with you on the whole glory thing. I've become a big fan. I've become a bigger kickboxing fan recently. I really, really have. It's all good. Is there anything that we could be doing better? We could be doing more of, to grow the sport, or we just keep doing what we're doing and we just let it keep happening?
I think the way things are going are good, but you mean like to add things to it? If we could get everybody behind like a foundation, it would grow our sport to the point where we have a mainstream of the sport. If you look back and you think about anything and how it happened, it takes money to do that, Mm-hmm. So you've got organizations like the USMF, the YDL, mm-hmm. and that's sponsored by the USMF. Sure. And for those people that don't know what the USMF is, that is the US Muay Thai Federation. That is our international federation competition. That allows us to they talk to the other countries and allow us to go and compete as a team over there. Sure. Kind of like, in the Olympics. That's what we're shooting for. Yeah. That's the big push, is to get this, get this into the Olympics. Because that, again, that'll help streamline.
Yeah, that'll help. Yeah, if the Olympics adopt the sport as an official Olympic sport, that'll definitely get the regular folk, to pay attention to it. I mean, we've all seen housewives and 50-year-old regular people who come to the gym on a regular basis, and we see how Muay Thai has affected their lives. Their sex lives, their confidence, their opinion of themselves. And they're doing Muay Thai, and they have beautiful Muay Thai shorts, and they have a full gym bag, and they have no interest in fighting at all. And it's wonderful. My question is, I wonder if that's happening in MMA gyms too. In an MMA gym or a boxing gym, are there regular housewives and just regular folk going to the MMA gym, or is that culture in mixed martial arts not? Is it not present there? I just am curious if you have an opinion on that. I mean, neither of us are an authority on it, but I'm just wondering.
Yeah. I mean, I really, to be honest, I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. I don't know if there's moms going and doing jiu-jitsu, then coming and doing striking and all that in an MMA gym. I'm sure there is.
Probably.
I'm sure they have. I mean.
Probably. I think I just figured out one of my next missions. I'm just gonna find an MMA gym around and go over there for a minute, just check it out and see what.
That's
Yeah. Well, man. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, man. I just wanted to, wish you luck tomorrow. Enjoy yourself. You are fighting Ognjen Topic, so you, Travis Clay, have you've gone from wherever you started, and the Jared Papazians and the Julio Penas. You are now about to express Muay Thai, full rules, full contact, with one of the best on the North American continent. He's fought Senshai, and he was dead serious about it. He was really trying to do that shit. And he's one heck of an athlete, one heck of a fighter. He's a creative guy. He's a designer, and Muay Thai is a creative sport. So we're definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. I'm really, really glad that it's on UFC Fight Pass. I'm way on the other coast, but now I know that I can lay in my bed and grab my Roku and be like, I'm about to watch Friday Night Fights. And I've never seen Friday Night Fights. I've been a longtime follower of Sean Fagan and Paul Banashik, and I've heard them talking about it. I love to follow the guys at the Watt Gym in New York, and they're always talking about it. Elijah Clark, I'm a big fan of his. So now finally that Friday Night Fights will finally come into my living room. And yeah, man, thank you so much for chatting with me, man. I'm a huge fan. I have been, like I said, for a while. Is there anything you want to share with us that's coming up that you want to let us know about, or something that you really are behind that you want us to get behind as well?
I mean, not really. I mean, nothing that stands out at the present, just always looking for, enlightening people into the sport. That's really my biggest thing, man. That's my heart. So
yeah.
when it comes to the sport, it's just letting everybody see it.
Yeah.
The more eyes, the better.
Yeah, for sure. What time is it out there, man?
It's almost 11.
You get some sleep. I'm gonna let you go, man. Best of luck tomorrow. Get your rest. Have you eaten already?
Thanks, man. Yeah, I ate already.
I bet you dogged that out, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're way into, like, man, I gotta do this podcast, but first I'm gonna have 4 hamburgers and then I'll go do this podcast. Yo, man, so thanks again for chatting with me, Travis. Best of luck tomorrow, and I'll chat with you soon, bro.
All right, man. Thanks. Have a good night, all right?
All right, Sawadee Kap.
All right, Sawadee Kap.
Well, there you have it, man. Travis Clay. This has been another episode of the TEEP This podcast. This is a periodic podcast that comes out approximately once a month. I'm doing the best I can. If I could do it more, I would. But thank you so much for tuning in and listening. I hope you enjoyed this month's episode and what Travis had to share. And we are streaming from iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. You can follow TEEP This on social media and Facebook. It's always just at TEEP This, TEEPTHIS. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can send an email directly to yo@teepthis.com. That's yo, Y-O, @teepthis.com. But until then, live well, laugh much, love often, and train hard. Sawadee Kap.